Hey, my name's JJ. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you guys how I paint skin. Now, there's not really a surefire way I can teach you guys how to paint skin. I'm just going to show you guys how I do it. Also, sorry for the poor audio quality. I just figured it'd be easier for you guys to understand if I was talking rather than the text on the screen. So I usually start off my paintings with a base color. And you'll see in this one I use a dark purplish blue kind of color. And it's good to use darker colors for darker skin tones. And with that being said, it's also good to use more saturated tones as well, because it really brings out the color in the face and a sense of being alive. I really tend to rely on color to bring a sense of warmth or life to a character. And to understand that, you need to know that there are 3 color zones at a base level. There is the yellow color zone, the red color zone, and the blue color zone. While the specific areas kind of vary, the general area is the yellow zone is the top of the forehead, or the forehead in general. The red is the cheeks and the nose, the ears maybe, and the blue is the entire jaw/mouth area. Furthermore, those colors can vary depending on the skin tone or the effect you're trying to achieve with the character. For example, the zombie man you just saw, he has a bit of a green tone to his face and a lot more yellow and pinks around his eyes. And that's just to give him a sense of being pale or sickly. Really, the colors tend to vary or shift depending on the mood or the tone of the character. So if you guys can't see, I'm taking that base color, then I'm putting an oil pen at a lower opacity over it, so that some of that pink or that purple or whatever it is still coming up through the character's skin color. That way that color is shining through and bringing together the character even more. When it comes to bright fantasy skin colors like blue or purple or green or any of that, it's important to play with the skin tones and the color zones so that you can actually get the result you want, because it's not going to be the same for everyone. And later on I do end up changing his color zones a little bit. However, the general rule of yellow, red, and blue should still apply. And with gray or dull skin like that you're about to see, it's the same general rule as well, it's just less saturated. Again, it's very much me keeping that base color throughout the entire piece. It really brings together a character, I feel. And I do find one of my favorite substitutes for blue is like a tealish color, but like a light tealish color for these pale grayish skins. So the darker your skin tone is, the more reflective the skin will be. Oftentimes it's better to use more saturated colors. A general rule to follow is the darker that you're shading or painting, the more saturated it should be. But then again, I contradict myself because I often make my highlights more saturated. Honestly, after a while, I kind of just started going with the flow of whatever I was painting. I do know that the color zones get more complicated as you progress through your painting. With Anton here, there's more bluish purple around his jaw, his eyes, his hair, his neck, more red around his cheeks and nose, and yellow pretty much everywhere. You'll see in a second here that I add shading to Anton. Usually I shade the sketch and then paint over the shading and the sketch at the same time, but I figured it'd be easier to understand if I just did the color zones and all that before the shading. Anyways, with sickly skin tones usually comes a lot of yellow and green and some purple/grayish tones. If you have a less saturated or pinkish red and a greenish blue and a lot more saturated yellow, it's going to seem more sickly. So this is kind of more dead-ish sickly. A very vibrant red or pink could also seem sickly, depending on the sickness. It's probably good to think about what kind of illness the person you're drawing has first. Like Zian here is just a zombie, so he's literally dead. So with the next one, there's not too much to say. It's just that Ranger's red zone is a little bit more orange, and a note on the fact that yellow zones can actually be white or blue as well, depending on the skin tone. Oh, and also that it's good to have a grayish blue under facial hair. Kind of blends it with the skin. Sort of a side note here, but I probably should have used a more teal color for her blue zone. It would have complemented the red very nicely, so just keep that in mind. A word of advice, stick to minimal brushes. I really only use like 1 to 3 brushes per piece, at least during the painting process. It's better to be good with 1 or 2 brushes rather than like an entire set. As odd as it may sound, keep a close relationship with about 1 to 4 brushes, I feel. It's very much like you can master those 4 brushes rather than using a bunch of other ones. It speeds up your process, it keeps your art style a bit more consistent than it would be if you maybe use other brushes. And overall, I find it easier to just use less brushes, but that's my advice. So this character's skin could have gone many ways. Blue skin is very tricky to color. You'll notice that I use a lot of light teal or whatever that color is to highlight his face, and I use purple for his blue zone and pink for his red zone. But really, this can be switched up to so many different combinations of colors. As long as it's in the general direction of the hue that you're trying to use, or the color zone, it should work. Again, it really is important to play around with your colors beforehand or during the process of painting. You'll notice on Smiley I use a lot more of a grayish purple tone around his entire face. It kind of resembles the base color that was there, so it really brought the piece together. And also again with the facial hair having a bluish grayish tone under it. Really helps blend that facial hair to the skin. But now we're about at the end, so I hope this helped a bit. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video.